Downtown Franklin, everybody was wondering were we going to make it. Well, we did. The bad weather came in about 2 minutes after we got off. But if you take a look at the video now that we're going to show you, the bad weather came in just a little bit earlier today, around 1:30. And boy, Jane, did that look mean.
It really did. We even saw something that looked like it would have been a water spout if it's touched down on the water. Pete will have more on the weather later, of course, but that explains why we are inside.
And we're here at the Water Street Landing, and we'd like to thank the Woods family and the Lawless family for letting us duck the weather and also some of that lightning that is still flashing around out there. So here we are today in Yorktown.
And for those of you who are saying, Yorktown? Where's Yorktown? Well, this is an area rich in tradition and history, isn't it?
That is true, and many of the nation's colonial roots, well, they happened right here in this wonderful city of Yorktown. And we're on the banks of the York River, and one resident calls this the little jewel of a restaurant.
This village is a place where it all came together for the army of a young would-be country more than 200 years ago. But now Yorktown is a place that marches to the beat of a different drum. People throng to Yorktown every October 19th to remember the British surrender back in 1781.
Where is Yorktown? Well, that's where George Washington whipped Cornwallis's tail. Oh, yeah, Yorktown, Virginia. We heard of that. That's near Williamsburg, isn't it?
Yorktown is real. Unlike colonial Williamsburg that's been carefully and lovingly restored, Yorktown's been allowed to pretty much just be. Take Grace Church. About 80% of it is the original structure. The church celebrates its 300th birthday this year.
Many of these other buildings are just very prominent and very significant and have that age, too. So. We're very proud that they've survived all of these years. I'll start them up for you.
George Sage is proud of his Yorktown shop. Old World balance toys are a bestseller.
They're not attached. They just sit there and balance until the law of gravity says slow down.
That's the message the old town sends. Slow down.
It's quiet. It's small. Everything's kind of at a snail's pace here.
The peacefulness, the water, the calmness of the water.
I like the beach. I like the people. I like the battlefields, the quietness.
One of the things that everybody loves is the quietness, but you wish more people knew about it. But then it wouldn't be quiet anymore.
Well, that's true. It could never be like Virginia Beach. You know how Virginia Beach gets overwhelmed, and I don't think that could ever happen in York County.
I mean, it's a wide open place. You can bring your kids and just walk on the battlefield. And you can't walk on the battlefield without thinking of the history of Yorktown.
You can even watch history live on the battlefield.
The strategy is going to be so effective that Washington can set his second siege line within 2 days.
You can walk where George Washington's troops and their French allies turned the British Empire on its head. You can lie on the beach. You can shop for antiques in Melinda Smith's Swan's Tavern. What do you want people to know? What do you wish people knew about Yorktown?
Well, I just wish they knew it was here.
Well, a bit of Yorktown's past, in fact, a bit of our country's past, is here with us now.
And we can hear a little bit of that right now. We're going to listen to the town crier. His name is Dick Ivy. And right outside, right behind us, we have the Fife and Drum Corps. Guess they marched right out of the picture.
They just marched on right past us. We'll check back in with them and with Dick in just a little bit. In fact, we'll be live here in Yorktown for the entire half hour, and there is still plenty to see and do.
That is true. We'll find them for you. We promise you that. But right now, we're going to go back to our studio, get an update on all of the day's news. Here is Tom Randalls.
Thank you, Ed and Jane. Topping our news, the fashion world bids farewell to a legend today. Family and friends of Gianni Versace are gathering in Milan, Italy today to pay tribute to the murdered fashion mogul. More than 2,000 people packed Milan's Gothic Cathedral for the memorial service. The crowd includes supermodels, celebrities, and hundreds of everyday folks. Shops in the fashion district closed during the service. Earlier in the day, many paid their respects at Versace's downtown shop, where his ashes were displayed on a simple altar. Meanwhile, the FBI continues to build its case against Andrew Cunanan. The FBI agents now confirm that the gun used to kill Versace is the same gun used in 2 other crimes Andrew Cunanan allegedly committed. Each day, a nationwide search turns up new leads in the quest for Cunanan, but police believe he is probably still in South Florida. Well, the clock is ticking for Virginia death row inmate Joseph Odell. He's scheduled to die by lethal injection tomorrow night at 9. 2 Italian officials met with the governor yesterday asking for clemency for Odell, but so far there's no reprieve from Governor Allen. Odell is on death row for the 1985 rape and murder of a Virginia Beach woman. An appeal for money to move the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse has come through, but it now needs final approval. The 127-year-old lighthouse is the tallest in North America. Over the years, the beach eroded, so now the structure is about 120 feet from the sea. A subcommittee has already approved $2 million, and a full committee is scheduled to vote on it today. Moving the lighthouse a half mile will cost about $12 million and could be done by 1999. And that's a look at today's news headlines. Let's head back to Ed and Jane for their neighborhood bus tour live in Yorktown.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, there's much more to come, much more to see and do in our live broadcast from Yorktown.
A slow and easy lifestyle makes for some very friendly people. We'll introduce you to some of them next.
And of course, we have more rainfall to talk about across Hampton Roads, including Yorktown. Your complete neighborhood forecast is coming up next.
You are watching WTKR News Channel 3 News at 5 with Ed Hughes, Jane Gardner, meteorologist Pete Grigsby, and John Castleberry with sports.
To prove how well made the new Kia is,
Storm Team 3 meteorologist Pete Grigsby with your neighborhood forecast.
Well, we've had some rain showers here in Yorktown. It all started around 2:30, and we did have some numerous reports of people actually seeing a funnel cloud. Now, we didn't have any severe thunderstorm warnings issued or tornado warnings, which was good, and no damage reported from the strong storm that moved on through. However, we need the rainfall, and nothing severe at this time all across Hampton Roads. No watches or warnings. Now, we had a chance to visit some of our neighbors here in Yorktown. It was a beautiful sight indeed. We're going to show you some video of a beautiful garden located downtown Yorktown. And I tell you, I talked to her and her husband, and she says that they spend so much time together as a hobby and decorating this and working on this all year long. And you can see the beautiful sights of it, and that's just part of what a sample is of what it's like here in Yorktown. Let's go ahead and show you the currents at this time for the south side and peninsula. And as we look at the currents, we're going to hear some of our music from the Fifes and Drums of Yorktown. You can go right ahead and start if you want. All right. Now, we'll add a little bit of music to this. Southside Peninsula, 73 degrees with rain showers. Relative humidity, not too bad, 97%. Winds from the northeast. The pressure is steady. High today unofficially, around 90 degrees, 73 the low. So far, Norfolk's reporting just less than an inch of rainfall. Let's talk about what's going on out there. Well, radar shows nothing but, well, you can see it, moderate rain showers, especially just west of Suffolk on over to Peninsula and also Gloucester getting some light rain. Going right to the maps, and we'll focus in, you can see radar is showing nothing but scattered thunderstorms off and on from Richmond to Exmoor, all the way to Norfolk and Edenton, getting some rain showers, some cloud cover, no doubt, to the south of here. This is all because of a stationary front. And folks, it's hanging right overhead at this time. And with that, we get a little bit of energy in the upper atmosphere. That's what sparks the rain showers. It's going to be another muggy night tonight. And what you see, the big L there, that low pressure, that is what's left of Danny. It's going to be moving across the deep south up the eastern coast and eventually bringing us more moisture. Future radar 3 is nothing but rain showers to deal with along the eastern coast, and it's going to be that way off and on for the next 3 days. So if you need the rainfall for your gardens or for the farms, looks like you've got a pretty good chance sometime this week. Tonight, more scattered showers, probably ending around 8:30, and then later on, it's going to be scattered showers tomorrow. Going to our forecast for our neighborhood towns of Hampton and Yorktown, you can expect the same thing as today. Starting around 1 o'clock, a chance of showers. And then we go to the eastern shore, a chance of rain with a daytime high of 86 for Kiptopee. Your showers begin around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, carrying into about 8 o'clock. As we go into the south side, Great Bridge, 89 tomorrow, and your chance of rain is between 1 and also 8. Same for the ocean front. Sandbridge Beach, your UV index only around a 6. Southwest winds at 10 to 15. And for northeast North Carolina, South Mills, 88 with a chance of thunderstorms. And our showers from 1 to 8 o'clock. For our water temperatures, for those of you heading out on the water, 75 degrees. Winds from the southwest at 15 knots. And your seas around 3 to 4 feet. Our exclusive 7-day forecast, well, we're going to have a high tomorrow in the 80s. The same with Thursday and Friday, chance of thunderstorms. And Sunday mostly sunny and 89. Now, as you come back, and not only we're standing along the York River here, you see the Coleman Bridge, a little bit of it behind us here. Yorktown's a beautiful town indeed. We've had a lot of fun this afternoon. Despite the rainfall, of course, it doesn't dampen the spirits when it comes to this great country of ours, and this is where it all started. Over here, the town crier, right? Your main job, you tell me.
Hear ye, know ye citizens of Tidewater, that the good news in Yorktown is that it's raining.
Did you help out with that?
Oh, maybe we rang our bell a little bit to get that. Hopefully it'll keep on raining, but some people say maybe it'll sunshine tomorrow.
And what do you think? Is this the greatest town in Hampton Roads or America or what?
It is that. York is the silver lining of Virginia.
All right. Well, thank you for your great spirit. And this is the type of spirit you feel from everyone in Yorktown. We've had a great time here. Any last words to all of our neighbors in Hampton Roads?
Shall we go in from the rain?
I think we should. And you know what? Can you give us a little bit of sample real quick? All right, as we toss it back to Jane and Ed. Here we go. Okay, Jane Ann, we'll go back to you inside.
Thanks, Pete, and Fife and Drum Corps, and Dick Ivy for standing out in the rain to entertain us this afternoon.
Have you realized this, that back in 1781, Jane, Dick Ivy would have been the anchorman?
He would have been. That's exactly what the town crier was
That's
then.
That's right, he was the anchorman.
Just ahead on the News Channel 3 Neighborhood Bus Tour, celebrating Yorktown's historic heritage.
And we're going to see how people here keep their past alive.
The slow and easy lifestyle here in Yorktown makes for a friendly group of people.
Well, that is true, and we found that friendly group of people right next door at the Yorktown Pub. Jim and Carolyn Wood were our hosts today, and these are the people we met.
Got off the bus and started greeting people as soon as we arrived.
A lot of the local people here, but there's a lot of people from out of town. Of course, Williamsburg and Yorktown and all of the resort areas around attract a lot of people, but lunchtime was busy today, and we got a chance to sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Wanda taking her lunch break from Fort Eustis, I believe.
That is true. The whole table was from Fort Eustis, and I understand Wanda's having a big party tonight. I thought I was in fine voice.
I thought so, too. I was happy to just quietly sing along and not try to drown you out. Friendly neighborhood pub along the York River. Lots of nice people there.
There's Mr. Buttons himself, Pete, passing out all of the weather guides. And,
Buttons and weather guides are Pete's thing. He's done a great job of keeping people informed today.
So a good time at the Yorktown Pub.
Yes, indeed it was. You know, Yorktown is rich in history.
That is true, and they're about ready to have a festival, I understand.
People here work hard to keep the past alive. Marlo Weed is here with us to tell us about a festival that extends the summer season and kind of advances Yorktown Day, doesn't it?
Yes, we are really excited. We've been planning for about a year for this. Lots and lots of volunteers working very hard. It's Labor Day weekend, Saturday and Sunday Labor Day weekend. So if you have plans Labor Day, you can still do it and come to our festival. We're very pleased. Nancy Thomas did an original piece of art for us to use for our posters. They'll be sold, limited edition, signed, as well as regular posters on the festival days.
Now, Nancy is a very good friend of mine, and I've known her for a lot of years. And Nancy, we've been looking for you all day, and I knew when I could get one of her posters for free.
There's a lot going on, isn't there?
Oh, yes. The festival really includes 6 fests in one. Wine Fest with really top Virginia wineries, Gourmet Fest, delicious food, Art Fest, Antique Fest, River Fest with regatta, a Music Fest with Virginia Symphony.
Virginia Symphony's coming?
We're really excited. Tickets are $18 at the gate. You may get them ahead of time for $15. With a $3 saving.
And what is, excuse me, but what does that $15 include?
That includes everything.
The wine and everything?
Right. Anyone under 21 can come in free. So the tickets are for people over 21.
And go ahead.
Well, we would like to have a plea for volunteers. Ticket number is 890-0916, and something of this magnitude really takes an awful lot of volunteers. So anyone out there, excuse me.
What made you all decide to do this?
Well, I could go on for about an hour on that.
Haven't got an hour.
Basically, what you've shown today about Yorktown, it's just the most special place in the world, we feel, and to have something like this that really has something for everyone stretched out on that beautiful beach is just our idea of perfection. So I'm telling everyone, if you have plans, cancel them, come to this. If you don't have plans, you have plans now.
Well, as we've been saying the whole broadcast, it's so full of history up here, and you know, anybody who has a camera, a lot of people we saw today do have cameras, and this is the place to take pictures because the battlefield is terrific and the waterfront is terrific, so it's a family type festival.
Terrific. And did I give the volunteer number? I want to make
Oh,
sure.
you may give it again if you'd like.
Good. This is very important. If you'd like to volunteer and get a free ticket, please call 874-8113. That's area code 757. And we'd really appreciate your help.
And the volunteers in the background are going, oh, thank you for putting out the number. We need help. Thank you, Marla.
Okay, Marla, we thank you very much, and I know your festival will be a huge success. And still to come now live on our neighborhood bus tour.
Yorktown is on the fast track, NASCAR's fast track.
John Castleberry's going to have all of that for us when we come back.
Downtown landscape is making a big change. The story tonight at 6.
This is WTKR Use Channel 3 News at 5.
Hello from Suffolk. I'm Jane Gardner.
And I'm Ed Hughes, and welcome once again to the News Channel 3 bus tour.
We are live tonight in Suffolk. It's one of the more rural cities in Hampton Roads and one of the largest, in fact, the largest city in landmass, that is, in Virginia.
Our broadcast site tonight is the place they call Constance Wharf, and boy, did things get quiet. We've got about 200 or 300 people all around us. Let's hear you one time. Yeah. I tell you what, we're going to show you all these people a little bit later in our broadcast. They're all around us. We're having a festival here at the same time, but we're going to show you the city of Suffolk first. And Jane, as you well know, and a lot of people are getting to know, that Suffolk is really two cities in one.
There's the old town, older really than this country, and then the new, the suburbs, and the new development along the interstate. But when most people think of Suffolk, they think of Mr. Peanut. This time of year, they run 22 hours a day at Tidewater Blanching, turning bags of raw red-skinned peanuts into piles of white ones ready to be fried and eaten. Not all of the peanuts processed at Tidewater Blanching come from Suffolk. These are from Argentina. I think they're smaller. What do you think? After all, Suffolk is famous for prime jumbo peanuts. It's home to Mr. Peanut and Planters. Well, Planters is part of Giant Nabisco now, and this isn't a terrific year for Suffolk's traditional crop.
We're somewhat concerned because of the weather. The crop is late, and we need some rain desperately.
Sean Horan knows a bad crop will raise costs for his Suffolk Commodities International, which sells Suffolk peanuts to Russia. Russia?
Russia is huge. Russia is probably the most promising market out there.
You can smell peanuts in the air in Suffolk, but you can feel the winds of change.
This is the new courts building that's hopefully going to bring some revitalized commercial and residential help to this area.
As lawyer Whitney Saunders takes us on a tour of his hometown, he sees its rich history despite some ragged edges.
There are historic buildings all up and down Main Street, many built before the Revolutionary War.
Is it folly to think old downtown Suffolk can come back?
This is home, and I am certain that it will once again be as interesting a place to be as it was 40 years ago.
Much of the interest in Suffolk today is here, where Interstate 664's easy commute turns corn and peanut fields into shopping centers and subdivisions. Real estate agent Lynn Cockrell says sales in Harborview are better than even the developer expected. Is this partly the old cliche, location, location, location?
Uh-huh. This is a prime location because you have got 664 out here with the Monitor Merrimack Tunnel just down the road, which takes you into Hampton, Newport News. Going the other direction, you can get into Portsmouth, Norfolk, or Virginia Beach inside of about 30 minutes.
Ironically, the hardest place to get to from the new part of the city of Suffolk is the old downtown city of Suffolk.
I think that the two cities that you're referring to are going to have to bond at some point.
I think that Suffolk has got a lot of potential, a lot of potential people don't even recognize even now.
We and our friends in Suffolk are live here along the Nansemond River for the next 30 minutes.
And you see some of the people there. They've made up all kinds of signs for us, Jane. And as you mentioned about the peanuts today, even the bus stopped at the peanut store. It's full of peanuts.
We had to stop and buy some peanuts. We were being tourists.
All right, we're going to come back and show you more of the city and its people a little bit later on. But right now, we're going to go back to the News Channel 3 studios and get caught up on all of the news of the day. And here now is Beverly Kidd.
All right, thanks you guys. In the news this afternoon, 4 hours and counting for death row inmate Joseph Odell. That's all the time he has left until tonight's scheduled execution. News Channel 3's Dale Gauding is live tonight in Greensville County.
Well, Beverly, it's been a long time since we have seen this kind of flurry of activity surrounding an execution in Virginia. The last one I remember was Roger Coleman from Southwest Virginia, which drew international attention because of doubts that were raised about his guilt. Well, Joseph Odell has been trying through the media to make that case that there is doubt about his guilt. And today there are last-minute appeals before the United States Supreme Court. Appeals for executive clemency from Governor George Allen. More of that we expect to hear about later. But in the midst of all this going on around him today, Joseph Odell married a longtime friend and advocate. Odell's new wife, Lori Urs, spent only an hour or two with her new husband before leaving him for what could be the last time and stopping to make a statement to the media outside the prison, asking Governor Allen for clemency.
There are so many questions around this case, and this case can bring to the world attention the problems about the death penalty in America and around the world, although very few countries carry out the death penalty.
She blames Governor Allen's refusal to allow new DNA testing for the worldwide attention this case is getting.
I have great remorse for the victim's family, and my hearts go out to them. There's no doubt about that. But I would ask them to please consider that the execution of an innocent man will not bring their daughter back.
The governor, I believe, basically is a good man who's been a good servant of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and he's in a unique position to do justice.
Justice, of course, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder, and based on his previous decisions regarding the allowance of DNA testing, which he refused, you might expect that Governor George Allen is going to refuse executive clemency in this case. We have not heard that officially, but we expect to hear more on that this hour, and we should know more about the governor's decision upcoming on News Channel 3 at 6. Reporting live from Greensville Correctional Center, Dale Gauding, News Channel 3.
All right, we'll see you at 6, Dale. Thanks a lot. Hazmat crews trying to solve a mystery at a Hampton business. Hampton firefighters were called to a refrigeration company on Build America Drive about 11 this morning. 2 women who work at the business complained of eye burning, chest pressure, and difficulty breathing. Both were treated and released at local hospitals. Workers in several small businesses nearby were evacuated. Hampton firefighters, with the help from the Newport News Hazmat team, took air samples trying to determine what made the women ill. The investigation is continuing. Some Chesapeake residents are talking trash tonight. They want to boycott garbage coming into the South Norfolk neighborhood. Tonight, residents like Una McConaughey will voice their concerns at a planning commission meeting at Chesapeake City Hall. Now, a Richmond company wants to bring trash on barges from New York, float it down the river, and offload it in South Norfolk.
We're just devastated that the city of Chesapeake would allow this to happen. It's something that shouldn't happen in any community. We don't need New York's trash.
And tonight, the Planning Commission will make a recommendation, but City Council will make the final decision tomorrow night. A pleasant surprise this summer for folks visiting downtown Hampton. A bit of entertainment as passengers get off a Hampton tour boat. They're called youth ambassadors. Besides entertaining tourists, they tell them where the restaurants and shops and other attractions are in downtown Hampton. The teenagers say visitors really enjoy the extra hospitality.
Some of them don't know where they're going because most of them that come off the boat are tourists to come to the boat, so they don't know where they're going. So they ask us where to eat, where to shop, where to drink, something like that, so we tell them.
And 8 teenagers are working this summer as youth ambassadors in downtown Hampton. And that's a look at the news from here in Norfolk. Let's go back to Jane, Ed, and the neighborhood bus tour live in Suffolk.
All right, thank you much for that report, Beverly.
You know, Ed, Suffolk is proud of its peanuts, it's proud of its farmlands, its economic development, its rich history, but it's proudest of its people.
That is true, and we've been in backyards today, we've been on Main Street today, shops and restaurants, and we're going to do just that. We're going to meet Suffolk's people when we come back.
And on this Wednesday, it's rain, rain, and more rain. Our complete neighborhood forecast is straight ahead from Suffolk.
WTKR, News Channel 3, News at 5. With Ed Hughes, Jane Gardner, meteorologist Pete Grigsby, and John Castleberry with sports. For two. And now, Storm Team 3 meteorologist Pete Grigsby with your neighborhood forecast.
Welcome back to Suffolk. Of course, we have a great crowd here. This is a crowd you haven't seen behind Jane and Ed. We've got them all around us here, and they've been enjoying what the Suffolk Parks and Recreation has provided for them for the midweek festival going on. And of course, we've got weather to talk about, and we'll get to some of these a little later. Let's go ahead and talk about our current conditions. First of all, our current temperatures for the south side and for the peninsula, 80 and 81 degrees, including the town of Suffolk. Looking pretty good, around 79 degrees. Relative humidity at this time, 82%. Winds are from the south at 9. The pressure is falling. The high today was up to 82 and the low 72, and a little bit of rainfall at the Norfolk International Airport. As for what we can expect for neighborhood Doppler radar, well, we've got some spotty shower activity. Eastern Shore, you're getting some rainfall in Cape Charles area. It looks like the town of Suffolk is getting just a little bit of rainfall just south of here. It looks like the rain is going to hold off just a bit so as to have a really good time here in the great town of Suffolk. Okay, let's move on to our national maps. What can we expect? Well, Edenton and Suffolk and Manio, you're looking pretty good at this time. So scattered rain showers. I know I missed that one. Sorry about that. Some rain showers around here. It's going to be an off and on scattered event throughout the afternoon and evening. As we fly up, I want you to notice the cold front and stationary front that's providing all this rainfall that we need, especially for the farm areas of Suffolk. And the area of low pressure you see there is the remnants of Danny. Danny is going to provide more moisture for us by tomorrow and create more rainfall for us all across Hampton Roads, all the way into probably Friday and early Saturday. Now, the regional radar, and Jeff is doing our drawing there back at Storm Center 3, our telestrator. He's drawing out the low pressure area, and notice how the rotation of the rainfall and the rain is moving in a northeast direction. We're expecting some showers later tonight through tomorrow morning. Now we're going to move on and show you future radar 3, only seen on News Channel 3. It does confirm we're going to get the rain showers in here not only for tonight but through tomorrow morning and afternoon. And it looks like, well, we need the rain, so we'll take it. And the weekend's not looking too bad. So let's get right to our neighborhood forecast. First of all, for tonight, Newport News down to 72, Virginia Beach 73, and for the town of Suffolk, it's going to be 74 degrees. Winds from the south at 10. For tomorrow, Newport News 83 with thunderstorms and rainfall. Expect a rainy event for Williamsburg 84, Gloucester 83, Eastern Shore, Cape Charles 82, Johnsontown 84. On the south side, looks like we're going to have some rain showers for Norfolk, Kempsville, and Suffolk with a high of 84. And for the beaches, well, if you're going to the ocean front, well, it's going to be a rainy day with a high of 83 and UV index only up to 5. And for northeast North Carolina, Elizabeth City 84, Manio 83, winds from the south-southwest at 15 to 20. As for the boaters, 74, 75 your water temperatures, and the winds south-southwest 15 to 20 knots. 7-day forecast. Looking decent for the weekend. As we look at that, you'll see Saturday and Sunday getting better with highs of 90 and 92. If you prefer the mostly sunny conditions, sunshine, and of course warmer air and dry conditions, Sunday will be your day. But from now until it looks like Friday night, we have that chance of thunderstorm activity. So, okay, what is the greatest city of Hampton Roads? Suffolk! Are you sure about that? Yeah! All right, have you had fun today? Yeah! And what is the greatest, the best, the most powerful television station all in Hampton Roads? Back to you.
Okay, Pete, I think we better bring it back to us here. Pete's lost in the crowd over there.
You know what? If he ever gets out of weather, he would make a marvelous choir director. Right on cue. Everybody's on cue.
Great, doesn't he?
Well, I tell you what, the bus picked us up bright and early this morning. Well, I guess 11 o'clock is bright and
Had
early.
to wait till we were done with Live at 9.
But we motored all over the city of Suffolk today aboard our News Channel 3 tour bus.
We sure did.
We looked happy. Look at us. There's
Yeah.
Jane, and I
Say
think,
hello,
yeah,
Ed.
hi, Ed. How are you?
And we made a stop at a friend's garden. Linda Consalvo has a beautiful garden. Nice to see her again.
Nice to see you. This looks like it's a lovely yard.
Now that's my little vegetable garden over in that area.
Well, how clever to keep it kind of
Yeah, like a
fenced
little-
off
yeah,
back
little
there.
service yard. Here are the bees and the
And
butterflies.
the bees and butterflies are happy to be here.
Yes, indeed.
Brown-eyed Susans.
I'll tell you what, she did have a pretty backyard, took a lot of work, and boy, was she grateful for that rain.
Yes, indeed. We all were, and we're grateful that it's not raining right this minute.
And we have our fingers crossed. That's how we've been doing our broadcast. But to remind you once again, there's plenty to see and do in the city of Suffolk.
In fact, up next, we will introduce you to a very special group of Suffolk seniors.
That's when the News Channel 3 neighborhood bus tour continues as you take a look at the Nansemond River.
If you've been... This is WTKR News Channel 3 News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Jane Gardner. Ed's out covering the storms. Funnel clouds, pounding rains, and destructive winds. Severe storms and rough weather rip across our area. For the latest on the storms, let's go now to Pete Grigsby and Jeff Rucker in Storm Center 3. Gentlemen.
Okay, as you can see some of that video there, quite a bit of downfall of rainfall all across Hampton Roads. We're going to show you the latest with neighborhood Doppler radar. The center of this now tropical storm, Danny, is located just off the eastern shore, east of Cape Charles. The good news is it continues to move east-northeast direction at 23 miles an hour. All your severe weather came from the east side of the storm as it tracked across the south side in northeast North Carolina. That brought you the heavy rainfall, the frequent lightning. And you see the lightning just on the edge of your screen there. Well, the lightning is beginning to move easterly. We don't have any more threat of any severe weather, just some strong winds to deal with through tonight, maybe some spotty showers. So once again, it looks like the threat of the major severe weather is over with. Of course, our complete neighborhood forecast is coming up in just a bit. Jane.
Thanks, Pete and Jeff. Well, as Pete indicated, almost everyone who can see News Channel 3 has been pounded by severe weather at some point this afternoon. In Norfolk's Ocean View, flooding and heavy rains are the biggest problem. Beach police confirm a tornado touched down near Knott's Island, and in the South Norfolk section of Chesapeake, part of a building has collapsed. That is where we find News Channel 3's Paula Miller. Paula, you've been out there all day. What can you tell us?
4 hours, the rains have finally let up here in South Norfolk, and you can really now start to get a clear picture of the actual devastation in this area. As you mentioned, it was a funnel cloud, but what a strong funnel cloud it was. So far, the toll is 6 businesses damaged, 4 of them seriously. A home was damaged and a church was damaged. What's the truly amazing story out of this afternoon is that there were no reports of injury. The most visible damage, however, was to a car wash that was literally flattened by the funnel cloud. Burton Lumber also took the brunt of the funnel's fury, literally lifting its roof and carrying pieces of lumber into nearby streets and businesses. The winds knocked down tree limbs and power lines and left folks on the street and on their porches running for cover.
Yeah, I saw the roof from the oil company blow off and just take off and stay up in the air for a while and keep moving. And then I seen stuff from the car wash go up and just kept going. Then I seen some other stuff, seen a tree right over here get knocked down and everything, and they done got that out the way. And then it just disappeared from there.
And again, what you're looking at right now is a live picture of a billboard that was literally ripped apart by the fury of this funnel cloud. And eyewitnesses tell us that it jumped up and down, skipped up and down, literally hopped across the tracks because it got Burton Lumber, which is just over here to my right, got the car wash behind us, and several homes and businesses in between. It's ironic that one of the businesses, Townsend Oil, has been hit by these type of strong winds in the past. In fact, they tell us on 3 occasions, so this is nothing new to them, but it was pretty unusual how it hopscotched across these Norfolk Southern tracks today. Again, amazing, no reports of injury, just a lot of rain, a lot of flooding, still some power outages here in South Norfolk this afternoon, and Virginia Power crews have been working real hard all afternoon trying to get the power restored, and they really have some incredible odds, because if you can see, or as you may have seen earlier, they were working against all that lumber that was strewn across the road and all the lumber that is in the adjoining businesses, and that's created quite a few obstacles for them, but they're working feverishly themselves to get power restored. That's the latest here from South Norfolk. I'm Paula Miller, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Paula. The scene isn't much better to the south. The News Channel 3 neighborhood bus tour was in Elizabeth City. As the storm swept through that part of North Carolina, we drew straws and Ed won, so Ed Hughes is still there and joins us now from the banks of the Pasquotank River. Ed, things were kicking up pretty good when I left. How is it now?
Well, it's just fine, Jane, so why don't you get Beverly to fill in for you, get on the bus and head on back down here. We can still do our thing.
I don't think I can get there quite in time, but it's tempting.
Well, I'll tell you what, we started out, and for those of us on the News Channel 3 bus tour, we're used to weather like we had today, and it finally caught us here in Elizabeth City. We started out with a good old-fashioned pig picking right here at the waterworks in downtown Elizabeth City, but the wind picked up, white caps on the Pasquotank, and then the rains came, and everybody moved quick. This was the scene about 5 hours ago, Jane, the mayor tying down his boat, and this is what's left of our pig picking on the waterfront. When the wind came in, the rain came down, people swung into action. We're used to this by now on our bus tour, but everybody was kind of expecting this, so some final preparations, if you will, just to make sure the tents were secured and nothing would blow away. Winds at times probably in excess of 50 knots. People down here are used to this kind of weather, a wave and a smile, and yes, if you look closely, that is a News Channel 3 weather guide in his back pocket. But the only thing police reported to me today was that they had several power outages throughout the city. That meant the intersections had no traffic lights. The flooding here on the main streets and side streets of downtown, minor. There was no stall traffic at all, and boaters who were caught out on the Pasquotank very quickly headed to safe port. Now, I'll tell you what, Jane, the power in a 6-block area here on the waterfront was just turned on about 10 to 15 minutes ago, so things are getting back to normal. No serious damage that we've heard of, and no injuries. A lot of wind, a lot of rain, that was about it. And Gerald Owens was traveling a little bit to the south of us and then to the east of us, coming across 158 Currituck and on into Edenton.
And Ed, it was a real violent trip. I guess you could say we were hydroplaning the whole way. Jane, it was as if we were on a collision course with Danny, us coming out of the east and the storm coming out of the west. Now, they say the storm is getting weaker by the day, but I tell you, after driving through it, you really wouldn't know it. It didn't seem that way to me. Now, much of northeastern North Carolina got a lot of this. The wind and the rain made it hard to do just about everything. This pleasure boat got caught up in the storm after 2 days on the Albemarle Sound. But in all, Edenton escaped this storm with little more than some downed power lines and some scattered down tree branches, just enough to ruffle their feathers. And back live now, Jane, I tell you, it's really a shame that we didn't get this bus tour on the road the way it was supposed to be today. It's clearing up out here. It's getting a lot warmer out here. It's really beautiful. Wish you were here. Reporting live from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Gerald Owens, back to you.
Gerald, you tell those folks there that we will be back, and soon.
We will be back in soon. There's about a handful of them here, and I'll tell them.
All right, thanks. Gerald Owens and Ed Hughes in Elizabeth City. In Suffolk, high winds ripped the roof off a Super 10 on Main Street. News Channel 3's Dale Gauding is live at the scene with the very latest information on that. Dale.
Well, Jane, when the storm came through here this afternoon, there was just a gully washer rain shower that came with it. And from what we have just been told, on a more official basis than what we had earlier in the day, during the height of that storm this afternoon, the roof of that Super 10 discount store across the street collapsed from the rain. Now, we have some pictures that were shot from across the street in the upper story of a hotel. You can see the hole in the roof where water accumulated on the roof of this building and got so heavy that it literally collapsed in the middle, and all this water cascaded down onto the merchandise in the store from the second story on down to the first story through that suspended ceiling in there. Everything in there is just soaking wet, all the merchandise. There were 2 employees in there at the time. They both escaped without any injuries. As we come back live, we can show you here there's a Suffolk fire truck right across the street that's been standing by here while Virginia power crews have been working to shut the power off in this building. They apparently had a hard time with that and just about 30 seconds before we went on the air, we saw the lights go off in the building. So even with all this water cascading down in there all for the last couple of hours or so, the power's been on, and that's why the fire department was standing by in case something sparked there. Right now we're talking about some structural damage to this building, a lot of damage to the merchandise. The company is owned by Variety Wholesalers out of Raleigh, North Carolina. This is one of 5 or 6 stores that they operate. Going to be a big cleanup, and with that layaway sign on there, might well be a storm damage sale coming up as well. Reporting live from Main Street in downtown Suffolk, Dale Gauding, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Dale. You know, as we've been talking about injuries, Dale indicated no injuries there, and throughout the area, all we've heard of in terms of injuries is one in Duck from a roof blowing off a building down in North Carolina. Folks on the peninsula have escaped the worst of the storm. It appears scattered downpours are leaving some areas flooded, and the winds have been kicking up from time to time, but nothing like the damage that we're seeing on the south side. You're going to want to stay with News Channel 3 News at 5. We will continue tracking the storm that's ripped through Hampton Roads when we come back.
WTKR News Channel 3 News at 5 with Ed Hughes, Jane Gardner, meteorologist Pete Grigsby, and John Castleberry with sports.
And heavy rains pelt Hampton Roads. Storm Team 3 tells you what's next.
And now, Storm Team 3 meteorologist Jeff Rucker with your neighborhood forecast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Everybody kind of busy around here, thanks to Jeff and also Greg doing great coverage of all the severe weather. We were scheduled to be in Elizabeth City for this broadcast. We want to apologize for the folks of Elizabeth City, but we will be there eventually. That's why we have the Elizabeth City shirt on. Looks pretty good, doesn't it?
I think it looks great.
All right. We're going to talk about some of the weather situations going on around Hampton Roads. Right now, we are going to talk about the current conditions. What is it like there, out there now? Well, Southside Peninsula at 72 degrees. Relative humidity, it's up to around 97%. Winds are from the north at 15. The pressure, now this is a good sign. It's beginning to rise. It tells you that that area of low pressure, which is Danny, is moving away from us. It's currently reading 29.86 inches. How about the high today? Well, it got up to 80 degrees, and the low is our current temperature. Unofficially, Norfolk International Airport, more than 2 inches of rainfall already for this day, thanks to the storm that moved on through. We're going to show you some still pictures taken above the school administration building in Norfolk, right on top of the building. This, Jeff and I have been discussing this. Of course, you don't see tornadoes like this too often in Hampton Roads. This is probably an F1, don't you think?
I think it's probably F1 tornado, right?
F1 with quite a bit of activity, of course, and this is kind of a sample of what we got when the remnants of Danny began to move through northeast North Carolina into southeast Virginia, and that's why you had all that severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings issued. Now we'll go to live Doppler radar, and we're going to point out that the center of the storm is now located right in this area, continuing in a east-northeast direction around 23 miles an hour. You notice we are detecting lightning still on the east side of the center of this storm, and that's the good news. As it moves away from us, our threat of severe weather is diminishing. Now for south side and also northeast North Carolina, you're looking pretty good. You're going to have some light rain off and on throughout the evening, but now on the eastern shore, we do have some moderate rainfall, but it looks as though now that you're away from the east side of the storm, it's going to be rather calm tonight. What about the tides, Jeff? Now, how's this going to affect the tide situation?
Well, we've got a low tide coming up out at the ocean front at about 10 after 6 p.m. this evening, and then at Sewell's Point at about 7:30. So that is certainly good news. You expect those northeasterly winds around a tropical system to create problems with tidal flooding. That won't be the case tonight. The only flooding problems we'll have will be a result of the excessive rainfall. We do have a low tide again at the ocean front at about 6:10 p.m. and at Sewell's Point at about 7:42 p.m. So that is certainly working in our favor here.
Okay, now we're going to punch up and go to regional radar, and we're going to see the rotation of the storm moving in an east-northeast direction. If you notice, that storm kind of glided across areas of North Carolina, right across the northeast area, but now the center of the location of the storm is just off the eastern coast. Now let's switch on and move and take a little closer look at what Future Radar 3 shows. No doubt, this thing has been absolutely fabulous in predicting the storm. I tell you, it pinpointed this storm moving across Hampton Roads, and it's showing the rainfall moving out here completely by tomorrow afternoon. up here, no concern. Now tomorrow, rain out of here by 9 o'clock on the peninsula. You're going to have a partly sunny day and a nice day to recover from all this. Eastern Shore, partly sunny and 84 for Exmoor. Rain ends by 9:30. South side, a decent afternoon with a high of 84 for Green Run, Norfolk 83, Suffolk 84. And for Northeast North Carolina, for you folks in Elizabeth City, 84, partly sunny. Your rain showers ending by 10 o'clock in the morning. What about the 7-day forecast? I like this right here. A nice little dry spell. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, mostly sunny. Daytime highs 88, 91, and 90. And I must stress that we didn't focus on this, but Jeff, our only chance of rain tonight and tomorrow morning is due to a weak Pacific front moving through. And of course, a cold front is nothing compared to what we experienced today.
Right. Any rain that we get for the remainder of the next 24 hours is probably going to be fairly minimal to what we've seen today.
That's right. But the threat of severe weather is now over with for Hampton Roads. Of course, Jeff will have the latest coming up at 6 o'clock. Jane?
Thanks, Pete and Jeff. You two are great with your new telestrator.
Thank you.
Just ahead on News Channel 3, the neighborhood bus tour makes an all-too-brief stop in Elizabeth City. What makes it such a terrific town? That and continuing coverage of the storm when we come right back. Well, just about the time the storms were coming through Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Ed, Pete, and I were at a pig picking on the Pasquotank River. We met dozens of friendly folks at a get-together at the Waterworks Sports Complex on the waterfront. Unfortunately, we couldn't do this broadcast live from there because of the weather, but we will be back soon. Stay tuned to News Channel 3 for the exact date and location. After our first neighborhood bus tour, hundreds of people from Portsmouth called to say, when do you come into our neighborhood? Well, we've got some good news for you. We will be in Portsmouth tomorrow night, 5 o'clock. The News Channel 3 neighborhood bus tour will be live at the High Street Ferry Landing. Come on down. We hope to see you there. Stay tuned. Coming up next, a soggy sports report and news of the latest NBA millionaire.
Okay, we were talking about the storm and how it's moving, and we've got good news for you. We're going to show you a neighborhood Doppler radar, and first of all, I'll show you the center location of Danny. Tropical storm Danny is now moving northeast around 23 miles an hour, east-northeast direction. The east side of the storm has moved across south side and northeast North Carolina, provided all the severe weather and some thunderstorms that we had, and of course the tornadoes that you've heard about and of course seen pictures of here on News Channel 3. Regional radar does show the track of the storm the past 24 hours. It did move in an east-northeast direction straight across. Jeff's drawn the line for you there and kind of give you an indication of what we're up against. Good news is the threat of severe weather is now over with. Now for tonight, it'll be some scattered showers. That's really about it. Tomorrow morning, a leftover shower. We do have a cold front moving through. It's not going to provide much rainfall. I guess, Jeff, we've had enough today, so not much moisture left for this cold front to work with, but expect a shower early tomorrow morning, and then by afternoon should be a partly sunny and nice day for everyone to regroup. Any comments?
I tell you, we have had a tropical system move right across Southampton roads today. All the energy associated with it, of course, we saw that in the form of some tornadoes and some touchdowns across portions of Hampton roads. But the severe weather is over.
And of course, Jeff will have the latest neighborhood forecast and the 7-day forecast coming up at 6.
All right. Thank you, Pete and Jeff. If you are a soap opera fan, don't fret. We will show As the World Turns and Guiding Light in their entirety at 1:30 a.m. That's right after the Late Late Show with Tom Snyder. Set your VCR, 1:35 tomorrow morning. And our coverage continues at 6. Have a good evening.
This is WTKR News Channel 3, where more people in Hampton Roads get their news than from any other source.
Weathered and beaten. For some, it's a twisted tale of bad luck. We'll show you the story at 6.
This is WTKR News Channel 3 News at 5.
Hello from Portsmouth. I'm Jane Gardner.
And I'm Ed Hughes, and this is the final stop for this week on the News Channel 3 bus tour.
We are live from Portside in Portsmouth tonight, a waterfront community resting on the banks of the Elizabeth River. And let's see, behind Ed is the Waterside in Norfolk.
That is correct.
The long-awaited Project 2000 kicked off near here last Friday.
And it kicked off in a big way, Jane, just down the street from here where we are at Portside. You might say the city of Portsmouth is capitalizing on its downtown assets, and it's all because of the economic boom here. High Street Landing was christened last Friday after a year-long construction project. High Street Landing is just part of a major plan by the city of Portsmouth to spur residential and business development on the waterfront and downtown. One area in question is Portside. 9 businesses have been here for 14 years. October 12th will be their last day. A major campaign is now underway to keep Portside.
Yes, sir. We're trying to get names so we can go to our city council and get with them and say that we have much support to keep this place as it is.
The Portside vendors consider themselves ambassadors for the city. They were the first to greet ferry passengers when they came from Norfolk. That opportunity no longer exists. Portside is a favorite stop for boaters.
I know I would hate to see it go, and I know there's a lot of people that I've been talking to about Portside being shut down that are really upset over it, about talk of it being closed down, and we'd hate to see it go.
Meetings with the city are ongoing, and it's hoped Portside can be part of Project 2005. You know, Jane, this section of Portsmouth is unique. It reminds you of Old Town Alexandria, Georgetown, Washington, D.C., or in my hometown, Beacon Hill in Boston. Old Town is a great place to hang your hat or your shingle. Many of the people who live and work here were born here.
Yes, and my family's been here since the early 1800s, so, and most of the families have. A lot of people have moved away, even people that I knew when I grew up who moved away have all come back after they've, finished college. So it's kind of nice because we grew up together and now we're all seeing each other raise our own children.
Old Town has a personality all its own. Each home has its own history. Nothing here can be duplicated. The idea here for new property owners is to clean up, fix up, protect the investment.
Old Town's coming back. I think it's on a renaissance here because everyone, if you go down the streets, everyone's working on their houses. This is a good place to put your money.
Again, the Chardonnay, okay? Chardonnay is an excellent choice.
Merchants are putting their money and their wares on High Street. The object here to fill every vacant building and create a unique and profitable shopping corridor that is a no-lose situation. The wine and card shop is moving to larger quarters.
I need to expand. I'm at that point in my business career where I need to grow, and I'm sort of in confines here. I can't go anyplace else, so I gotta move onward.
Well, when you say onward, the good part about that, you're staying on High Street.
No doubt about it. High Street is the place to be. In all of Tidewater, there's no better place to be but on High Street.
One business complements the other. Restaurants along High Street are a big drawing card. Places like Brudy's do make a difference.
Yes, it does, very much so. That's what brings the people downtown, along with the other businesses, of course, too.
So what do the people say when they come here as far as the coffee shop and the food? They like it?
They love it, and I don't think I can eat all that. Do you have a to-go box?
Everything blends in on High Street in Old Town. The Virginia Sports Hall of Fame is here, and it too will someday soon have to expand. Old Town development is having a domino effect.
Oh, no question. We're getting a lot more exposure, and I think that has a lot to do with the city getting behind what we've got here and promoting it along with everything else going on here on High Street.
You might say there's a light ship at the end of the tunnel, and it's shining on Old Town in Portsmouth. And you know, Jane, you and I, we passed the Children's Museum. There's the folks from Portsmouth. We passed the Children's Museum here earlier today, and that too is expanded. And we're going to show you all of that, meet some more of the people, because we're going to be live for the full half hour here in the city of Portsmouth.
But for now, let's head back to Tom Randall's in the News Channel 3 studios for a look at today's top stories. Lots quieter today than yesterday, Tom.
Much quieter, Jane and Ed. Well, picking up the pieces after Tropical Storm Danny blows through town, that's the job facing many people in Hampton Roads today. One of the worst hit areas is the South Norfolk section of Chesapeake, and that is where we find News Channel 3's Beverly Kidd tonight. Beverly, what kind of update can you give us today?
Well, Tom, we are at Townsend Fuel Company on Seaboard Avenue in the South Norfolk section of Chesapeake, and a twister touched down here about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. And as you can see, one of the buildings here is pretty much flattened. The owner calls this Tornado Alley, and that's because this was the third twister to hit the business since the 1970s. After the twister touched down here, it skipped over about a half a mile to Burton's Lumberyard. That was around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. 3 buildings are damaged to the tune of more than $100,000. A cul-de-sac next to the lumberyard was also hit, damaging 5 homes.
He was telling me that we were lucky to have a house because part of the tree broke down, or maybe it came from back up that way and it was in the yard. But the first thing I saw when I came up was the dog house was through the gate, and I was just worried about my dog.
And we're going to tell you how that puppy is doing tonight on News Channel 3 News at 6. Reporting live from South Norfolk in Chesapeake, Beverly Kidd, News Channel 3.
Thank you, Bev, for that live report tonight. Well, they are drying out the merchandise at a Suffolk discount store today. Rain from yesterday's storm sent part of the roof at this Super 10 store crashing down. Water damage to merchandise inside the store is severe. There is no word when the store will reopen. Now a story you're going to have to see to believe. Chaos erupts in a Florida courtroom. The father of a murdered toddler attacks the man charged with killing his son. The boy was kidnapped during a robbery at his father's home earlier this month. The 3-year-old was later found dead in a stolen car. Witnesses say the father was overcome by grief when he lunged at the accused killer and punched him several times. Neither man was seriously hurt. Both were taken into custody after this attack. A verdict today in the Cosby extortion case. Autumn Jackson is guilty of trying to extort money from actor Bill Cosby. She threatened to sell a story to the tabloids claiming she was Cosby's illegitimate daughter unless he paid her $40 million. Jackson now faces up to 12 years in prison. And that's a look at news headlines from the News Channel 3 studio in Norfolk. It's time to go back to Ed and Jane, and I might just swim across the river and meet you guys over there.
No, take the water taxi.
Okay, it's safer, right?
Yeah.
Or you can take the ferry, better yet. You got a couple of ways to get here.
There is lots more to come on the neighborhood bus tour in Portsmouth.
Well, we spent all day here and part of last week. We met some wonderful people. You're going to meet them when we come back.
And it's Friday and we're in Portsmouth. What about the weekend? Our complete neighborhood forecast is straight ahead.
News Channel 3 News at 5 with Ed Hughes, Jane Gardner, meteorologist Pete Grigsby, and John Castleberry with sports. Redeveloping High Street. The bus tour checks on progress today at 5 on News Channel 3. And now, Storm Team 3 meteorologist Pete Grigsby with your neighborhood forecast.
Welcome back to Portsmouth, Virginia. And by the way, before we get into our activities here and about the forecast, if you don't have your News Channel 3 weather guide, go by and pick one up. Any Chrysler Plymouth dealership across Hampton Roads, or come on down to Portsmouth on the port side and pick one up free of charge. More than 70 pages of valuable information, and it all is free from News Channel 3. Let's talk about the current conditions for this Friday. A lot of cloud cover, but the south side and peninsula, a very comfortable situation at this time. 75 and 77. Even in the town of Portsmouth, it's about 77 degrees, looking pretty good. For our humidity, 76%. Winds are from the northeast at 7, and the pressure steady. How high did we get? Well, it was a mild 75, and the low this morning, 66. Just a trace of rainfall barely after midnight, but I tell you, we needed that rainfall yesterday, and I'm glad we survived that nasty storm. Let's get right to it and talk about neighborhood Doppler radar. It's a good sight to see it rather clean at this time for Southside, Peninsula, Eastern Shore, and Northeast North Carolina. We're zooming in on our street level map in the town of Portsmouth! And that's looking good. Isn't that great? You can look right on your streets there, and we're looking right at Portside. Yeah, no, it's pretty nice. Portside's looking good. It's going to be a beautiful weekend indeed. Let's get right to the national maps. And we'll talk about, first of all, where is Danny? Well, good news is Danny has said goodbye to Hampton Roads, and it's now moving up the New England coast and beginning to move off, so no more threat to Hampton Roads at all. Cloud cover, yes, plenty of it, but it's more like mid-level cloudiness, and I tell you, there's not much moisture to work with now with that front moving through this morning, so we're not expecting any shower activity tonight, and the weekend is looking absolutely beautiful. Moving on to our regional radar, really not much there. As you can see, some showers up over Boston, and that's really about it. So we're beginning to slowly dry things out. So what can we expect for tonight? Well, some gradual clearing with high pressure building in over the Appalachians of Virginia, West Virginia, and eastern Kentucky. That high pressure will dominate our area for the next 2 days. As for future radar 3, it is rather dry and it looks good for the weekend. A little bit of rainfall down over southern Georgia and southern Alabama and Florida, but hey, we're not going there this weekend. We're going to stay in the town of Portsmouth! All right, for tonight, it looks pretty good with a few clouds here and there. Our winds will be light from the north-northeast, overnight lows around, 68. And for the town of Portsmouth, 69. For tomorrow, for Saturday, looking nice, mostly sunny on the peninsula, highs in the mid-80s. On the eastern shore, a nice, beautiful day, mostly sunny, with the temperature around 83 and 85 for Kip to Peak. For the south side, Suffolk, you're looking good with mostly sunny sky. For the town of Portsmouth, it's going to be pretty good with a high around 87. Can you believe that? 87? Got some plans for this weekend? All right. And let's go to the beaches. Oceanfront 84. We don't go to the beaches. We don't stay in Portsmouth, right? Is that what okay, all right. UV index around 8. And for Northeast North Carolina, it's also looking good. Mostly sunny, daytime highs in the mid to upper 80s. How about the boating forecast? Water temperature is very comfortable and your winds will be light from the south and the seas around 2 feet. Our exclusive 7-day forecast is looking good for the weekend. Sunday, high of 93. Monday, 91. There is a weak front moving in from the north that will spark a scattered shower here and there. And the good news is that's going to cool us back down. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, how about that? Daytime highs in the mid-80s. It will be less humid. Kind of a warm weekend, but at least it'll be dry. We'll have a nice little dry spell after all that rain we've had all week long. And of course, I'm with the great people of Portsmouth. Have you had a good time today? Had a good time? All right. Now, where are you from, man? Oh, Portsmouth. We know you're from Portsmouth. And what's your favorite channel?
Channel 3.
Okay. What do you have in your hand there? That's the weather guide, right? Yeah. You're going to read that tonight?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, I'll ask you 2 more questions. The greatest town of Hampton Roads is? Portsmouth. And what's the best TV? Well, you know, there's only one TV station in Hampton Roads worth watching, and what is that? Okay, I tell you, I think I'm going to take them back to the station with me. They're a good bunch of people to have. What do you think, Ed, Jane?
I wonder if that works. What town are we in? It works for me. I can do that.
And if we seem a tad bit giddy, it's Friday. It's not raining.
Mm-hmm. We're giddy.
And we are glad to be in Portsmouth. There is much more to come on the neighborhood bus tour from Portsmouth.
You left me yesterday, you know. But anyway, everything old is new again here, and that includes the mayor. We'll explain when we come back.
Use Channel 3 team coverage of severe weather.
I'll show you the latest with neighborhood Doppler radar.
We alerted you.
This is our danger area.
We gave you the damage reports.
There are several businesses that are toppled.
The roof of that Super 10 discount store collapsed.
We led you to safety.
264 eastbound is flooded.
And we gave you the good news.
The truly amazing story is that there were no reports of injury.
When local news affects you, we're the station where local news comes first. WTKR News Channel 3. Greg Patchett fires up the grill for backyard weather tonight at 6 on News Channel 3.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jane and I have visited a few cities all this week, and a few surprises in every one, and that includes the city of Portsmouth.
We've met some wonderful people here in Portsmouth, as we have everywhere we've been this week. Old News Channel 3 neighborhood bus has put some miles on it this week. We stopped at Portsmouth, met some nice people there, and of course they'd like to keep on meeting you. The merchants in Portsmouth had a message for the mayor that they'd like to keep open.
That is true. That is our youngest viewer, by the way. Jane kept signing my pictures, and I kept signing hers, and that confused a lot of people
No,
today.
but they got it all sorted out in the end. And we stopped by and had a wonderful buffet lunch at the China Garden on High Street. Jackson and Ronald took good care of us there.
We got there about 12:30, just in time for the buffet, and I understand you took a few brown paper bags.
I did go back for seconds. But now, the serious issues of the city of Portsmouth. It's a city that's changing its image.
Well, it sure is, and we're going to talk about the past, the present, and the future, and to do that, here is Mayor James Holley. And Mayor, it's good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Ed, for having me, and Jane.
He's a good sport. He didn't take it personally when we said what's old is new again, but of course this is the second time around as mayor, and your second term is quite different from your first.
It certainly is. In fact, it's taken a momentum of which no one would envision when we assumed the leadership. And we think that came about because there's a new rekindling of a spirit here in Portsmouth. We think that we are in a renaissance. We think that our people are going to work real hard to improve the quality of life for this very historic place. It's wonderful.
Well, it's so unique going through Old Town and High Street and what's happening down here on the waterfront. But since I brought it out in my report about the folks over there at Portside, they've been here a long time, 14 years. I know negotiations have just started with the city. Is there hope for those merchants over there to be located in the Old Town section?
I would certainly hope so. I support the entity of the the marketplace as it is. It's certainly been a wonderful magnet for bringing people from all over this region. I would see no real reason for us to discontinue something that is as viable as it is. There are people there now. I just met some people from Annapolis who drove down here by boat, and they had lunch there today.
We just met a person who sailed from Portsmouth to Portsmouth, England to Portsmouth, Virginia.
We're delighted to have him here in our community, and we think that it is imperative that we have a marketplace, that we have a place where people feel good about congregating and feeling good about the community at large. Portsmouth has Portside. Portsmouth should keep Portside.
There are other areas of the city that I know you're proud of the development in.
Oh yes, of course, at Port Center, which is just to the south of here. We're going to be doing some things there, which is going to increase the viability of our industrial base. And we have many other interesting things that are coming forth on the plate. So Portsmouth is, as I said so candidly in that recent editorial in Virginia Poly, Portsmouth's on the move.
Okay, and you were part of it when they were just talking about it, and now you're right in the center of it, and they're doing it. Mayor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Best of luck as you continue to progress. And up next on our neighborhood bus tour, we're going fishing.
Well, we're going fishing, and John Castleberry says to us his favorite sport is thriving in Portsmouth. What could that be, Jane? Badminton?
I don't think so.
Your guide to hurricanes. Get the News Channel 3 weather guide at WTKR.
It is time now to look ahead to News Channel 3 News at 6.
Tom Randalls is in Sky Center 3 with a preview. Tom.
Ed and Jane coming up tonight on News Channel 3 News at 6. Virginia Beach police investigate a murder. Was it a case of mistaken identity? And 3 rainouts in a row have some Harbor Park officials crying foul. These stories and more tonight on News Channel 3 News at 6.
All right, we'll see you at 6. And guess what, folks? That's going to wrap up the News Channel 3 bus tour for this week.
But next Thursday, we're going to go back to Elizabeth City since we got rained out there.
Okay, so for Pete, Jane, Ed, and John, we had a soggy time, but we had a ball.
And we'll be back Monday in the studio. See you then.
This is WTKR News Channel 3, where more people in Hampton Roads get their news than from any other source.
Well, it's the end of floor finishing week here on Tool.
Flavor of Jell-O. We'll tell you tomorrow at noon.
This is WTKR News Channel 3 News at 5.
And a very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ed Hughes.
I'm Jane Gardner. Welcome to News Channel 3 Neighborhood Bus Tour live from the Harbor of Hospitality, Elizabeth City.
That is true, and this happens to be our second trip back here. And if you recall, a week ago, well, we had all kinds of weather. Some people say we got rained out, Jane, but I say we got blown out.
It is a much nicer evening now. There's a little bit of a black cloud, but Pete Grigsby promises us that it will not rain. We're broadcasting live from the Waterworks Mall. And in case you're not familiar with the area, let's show you. Elizabeth City is situated on the banks of the Pasquotank River. And you know, location, location, location. That is how the folks here describe their city.
That is true. Easy access to all points north, south, east, and west. Couple of drawing cards here, the history of this city, and of course the Pasquotank River directly behind us. The Watergate project is a 3-year-old venture totaling $3.5 million for recreational and commercial development on the riverfront. Elizabeth City is capitalizing on its most important asset. Results?
Absolutely. From the day we've opened, we've been 100% full, and all the businesses seem to be thriving, so it's been very successful.
Mulligan's is a favorite restaurant for the locals and out-of-town visitors. It is the cornerstone for riverfront development.
This is the intercoastal waterway behind us. If you go to my left, you go to Florida. You go to my right, you go to Norfolk.
Meet a lot of people that way.
A lot of people from all over the world.
Well, I think the main attraction here is the waterfront and the idea of specialty shops in a smaller complex.
Not only do you get the locals, but you get a large tourist trade that comes through here, especially the boaters.
Yes, we do, because this is a good stop for people going towards the Outer Banks or coming back from the Outer Banks up to the Virginia area.
City Robin.
Hi.
Where are you?
Hi, Mr. Hughes.
Nice
Welcome to one of the best small towns in the United States.
You are a walking billboard. Robin has been at the Main Street Arcade for 7 years. As she says, the best sandwich at the best price. No argument. The Coast Guard is very much a part of Elizabeth City. Personnel make up one of the most distinguished groups of sea rescuers in the world, risking their lives every time they answer the call. Off duty, the Coast Guard men and women play an active role in their community.
The community is very supportive of the Coast Guard. The people who, when we go out and we live in town just with everybody else, the people in town are our neighbors, and we're part of the community. The people here work in the community as far as volunteers. They do a lot of work there. People in the community support us, and we get along very well.
Downtown is the center for modern-day redevelopment. Much has been invested here, storefront and apartment living coming together. Change is noticeable.
One of the things that it seems to be a trend now is for downtown apartments, for people that are living downtown, the younger group and the older group. And it's a good mixture because you can park your car and you don't have to worry about traffic.
In Elizabeth City, park your car and let your feet do the walking. Construction is ongoing. A new middle school, a high school will come later. Elizabeth City State University is in the midst of major expansion. The city is rich in history. Bed and breakfast downtown give one the opportunity to take it all in while enjoying homegrown and home-cooked meals. And this advice when you come here.
Look for peace and quiet. I think you could find it very easily here, and I think that's a good selling point, the way the world is moving today, if I was to have a statement on it.
Well, that is a good statement, and there is peace and quiet here. There's also a beer tasting here at the Waterworks going on directly behind us, and we'll see that a little bit later on because we're going to be here for the full half hour live in Elizabeth City.
And a little later, I'll explain the story behind this lovely rose. Take a sniff.
Thank you, Jane.
But first, let's go back to the News Channel 3 studios in Norfolk, and Leanne Rains with today's headlines. Leanne.
Thank you, Ed and Jane. The murders of 3 Spotsylvania girls may be the work of a serial killer. Gerald Owens is in Sky Center 3 with details of today's press conference. Gerald, what happened?
Well, Leanne, until now, authorities have ruled out a link between the murders of Sophia Silva and Katie and Kristen Lisk. And let me show you why. While they were searching the waters for Katie and Kristen Lisk's body near their Spotsylvania home, the man police arrested for Sophia Silva's murder just 8 months before was already in jail.
The task force investigating the abduction and murders of Kristen and Katie Lisk and Sophia Silva now say new DNA evidence suggests that all 3 girls may have died by the same hands, which means the killer is still out there.
In view of that fact, this community must remain alert and aware in the safeguarding of the welfare of our children.
Sophia Silva was killed last September. Her neighbor, Carl Michael Rausch, was arrested for her murder. But after a mistake in analyzing fiber was reported by the state crime lab, he was released. Now investigators are back to square one.
Due to some type of stressful event in the offender's life, and for reasons known only to him, the offender has decided to act out these fantasies.
An FBI profile of the suspect suggests that the killer's behavior may have changed around the time of the crimes. Changes such as increased use of drugs, alcohol, or cigarettes. He may have started to avoid people, become a loner. Also common in this profile are absences from work or school. He may even have left the area.
These behavioral changes will have been noticed by people close to him during these times. His close associates may even have questioned him about these changes.
The killer may also have changed his personal appearance during this time, like his hair color or growing or shaving a mustache or beard. A change of his vehicle's appearance is also possible. Investigators have gotten over 8,000 leads in these 3 murders. They have reason to believe someone knows something, and there may have been other unsuccessful abductions that went unreported.
Now again, Leanne, this time period is last September 9th for the death of Sophia Silva and May 1st for the Lisk sisters. Anyone with information should call either the FBI or their local police. From Sky Center 3, I'm Gerald Owens. Now back to you.
All right, Gerald, we'll see you tonight at 6 with more on this. It is a day of mourning in the small town of Plymouth, North Carolina. That after a van carrying members of a high school band crashed on the interstate. All 10 people inside that van were killed. Police say the driver was trying to pass 3 other cars in a no passing zone when it slammed into a tractor trailer. Today, grief counselors are at the school to talk with classmates. Many of the kids have stopped by that crash site to leave flowers and cards. A fiery crash at a New Jersey airport as a Federal Express cargo plane goes up in flames. It happened early this morning at the Newark airport. The plane apparently flipped as it hit the runway during a landing and burst into flames. Luckily, all 5 people on board that plane escaped with just minor injuries. Federal Express spokesmen say the plane was carrying 145,000 pounds of freight, including a small amount of hazardous materials. This is the company's first crash in its 25-year history. Meanwhile, one of Federal Express's biggest competitors is facing a problem of its own tonight. Workers at UPS are planning to go on strike at midnight. The walkout includes more than 1,000 workers here in Hampton Roads. The union wants more full-time jobs and better benefits for employees. UPS says it made its final offer during negotiations today. So while delivery drivers are planning a strike, the company vows managers will step in and deliver your packages, but you should expect some delays. Remember back in May, we told you about a Newport newsman whose motorized scooter was stolen? His name is Melvin Royal, a 47-year-old quadriplegic who can't get around at all without his scooter or something like it. Our Jane Gardner asked for your help. The next month, she reported that 6th graders at Norfolk's Azalea Gardens Middle School raised more than $100. Teachers made the total more than $300. And since then, the Riverside Rehabilitation Institute in Newport News has taken up this cause, and its volunteers raised enough money so that today, Melvin got a $2,900 motorized wheelchair, for which he is very grateful.
I love it. This one won't get out my sight. Yeah, and I appreciate everybody that helped me in this. I really do.
And the contributions have continued to come into Riverside thanks to your generosity. The Institute will be able to provide lots of things for people with handicaps, such as Melvin's. And that's a look at the news headlines from here in Norfolk. Let's head back to Ed and Jane and the neighborhood bus tour live in Elizabeth City. Jane, that story must make you feel terrific.
I'm so proud of the News Channel 3 viewers who contributed. Thanks, Leanne.
That was a nice story, and still ahead on our neighborhood bus tour tonight.
Oh, remember, it was rainy and windy, but the people of Elizabeth City kept their sunny disposition.
And what that means is we're going to take a look at our last trip down here to Elizabeth City when we come back.
And along the Pasquotank River in a beautiful Elizabeth City area, we have our neighborhood forecast straight ahead.
WTKR, News Channel 3, News at 5. With Ed Hughes, Jane Gardner, meteorologist Pete Grigsby, and John Castleberry with sports.
He doesn't really.
Information on WTKR.com from News Channel 3. And now, Storm Team 3 meteorologist Pete Grigsby with your neighborhood forecast.
Good afternoon, everyone. We've left our News Channel 3 weather deck at 5 o'clock, and now we're on the deck along the Pasquotank River right here in Elizabeth City, thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Rich, who have allowed us to kind of invade their territory for this beautiful site up here. Let's talk about the current conditions, first of all, for the south side and peninsula. What a gorgeous day it definitely has been so far, and it's going to continue a very nice day. Currently around 79, 78 degrees, partly cloudy conditions, relative humidity up to 43%. Winds are from the east at 11, and the pressure is steady. Now, unofficially, today's high was around 79. That's much, much better than all that heat and humidity we've dealt with for the past several days. The low 62 and no rainfall to talk about for this Thursday. Getting right to neighborhood Doppler radar. Southside Peninsula, Eastern Shore looking very nice. And even in northeast North Carolina in the town of Elizabeth City, also known as
Harbor of Hospitality.
Very good. It looks very nice down here. I mean, we have a few clouds to deal with, but as we zoom in, things are looking very quiet and just a gorgeous, gorgeous afternoon. Getting right to the satellite map and all what's going on across the region. A few clouds to deal with, but nothing like what we had yesterday. In fact, we'll just expect a few clouds here in the town of Elizabeth City.
Harbor of Hospitality.
Very good. You're pretty good at this. All right. Going on as we fly across northeast North Carolina into southeast Virginia, and then we pass Richmond. A few clouds there. But the nice thing about all this is the cooler air has finally made its way, and it's moved into Hampton Roads. It's going to stay with us, and it'll be a nice, pleasantly cool night all across the area. Enjoy it while it's here because, well, you know how things can warm up very quickly, and that's what we're expecting by this weekend. So Elizabeth City,
Harbor of Hospitality,
is looking good for tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, high pressure just kind of builds in and settles with us. It's going to create clear skies and sunny conditions. And how about Friday evening, a nice night to spend in the city of Elizabeth City?
Harbor of Hospitality.
Yeah, of course. You got some fun activities down here on weekends? Okay. All right, good. Future radar 3 does confirm showers staying to the south of here, and it's going to look pretty nice. Now we go to our neighborhood forecast. It's looking good. I mean, look at this. Mostly clear skies down into the 50s. It's been a while since we've hit the 50s up on the peninsula, but in Elizabeth City,
the Harbor of Hospitality,
it's down to 64 degrees. Our neighborhood forecast for tomorrow, looking good on the peninsula. You're going to be a high of 85. Up on the upper peninsula, 84, winds from the northeast. Same for the eastern shore. Your winds from the northeast at 5 to 10. Temperatures in the low 80s. On the south side, Hickory 84. You're looking good, especially with the high of 85 farther inland you go. And for the beaches, well, oceanfront, nice day to be there. 80 degrees, UV index up to 8. What about northeast North Carolina? You know, towns such as Elizabeth City.
Harbor of Hospitality.
It's going to look very nice. Temperatures probably in the 80s there, so a quick warm-up indeed. Going to our exclusive 7-day, there's our boating forecast, by the way. Your water temperature still in the 70s and your winds from the northeast. Now let's get to that 7-day forecast and talk about how that heat's going to return very quickly. Saturday and Sunday, not a bad forecast there indeed. Our daytime highs in the 80s, even in the city of Elizabeth City.
The beautiful Harbor of Hospitality.
Hey, I like your style. All right, and you know, it's looking good for the early week too. We do have a chance for a shower coming later on, but you know, it's overall it's a nice weekend all across Hampton Roads and for northeast North Carolina. Okay, we'll come back here. Of course, I have the nice, these are the voices, the faces to the voices you've heard. And first of all, I'm coming right over in here real quick. Can we get over here? All right. Sir, what's your name?
Brian.
And this is a city of known as what?
Harbor of Hospitality.
Okay, now what's one of the best activities around here for a weekend?
Oh my stars, where would you start? Something around the water. Anything around the water. Swimming, fishing, boating, sailing.
Okay, and you encourage all of us to come back and visit and just camp out here anytime, right?
Absolutely.
Would you allow News Channel 3 bring the whole staff down here?
If it was in my power, absolutely.
You better have the food ready. All right, Ed and Jane, this is the Harbor of Hospitality, and boy, have we been treated well around here. Back to you.
Thanks, Pete.
I'll tell you what, a great forecast. I bet he didn't know there was a weather deck already here waiting for him, did he? Okay, our neighborhood bus tour will continue in just a moment.
You know, Mother Nature wasn't very kind to us last time we were here, but the people here are more than kind. More in a moment.
Why does Tom... to hurricanes. Get the News Channel 3 weather guide at WTKR.
Well, you know, Jane, it was just a week ago when we were last here, and our visit then, it started out oh so well.
Lots of nice folks greeted us here at the Waterworks Mall. It was just a little bit overcast when the bus pulled up, and we were immediately and warmly welcomed. We met new friends, got reacquainted with old over a delicious barbecue.
Well, this happened to be an old-fashioned pig picking and some of the best North Carolina barbecue any of us have ever had. And we watched as Rose buddy Fred Fearing got his new golf cart presented to him. This was quite a ceremony. Fred and his fellow Rose buddies have been greeting visitors to Elizabeth City docks since 1983, and their old golf cart simply had worn out.
It was about the time the festivities ended that the wind really began to kick up, and the party broke up, only to reconvene today. A nice crowd's beginning to gather today.
That is true. And joining us now is the mayor of Elizabeth City, Rick Gardner. And the last time I was talking to you, you were trying to secure your boat to the dock, and I was trying to stay dry.
But you know, I'll tell you, one of the dearest things that we saw that day was as the wind was kicking up, and it was really beginning to rain hard, the music was still playing, and you and your wife were dancing. This is a wonderful place, isn't it?
This is the most fantastic city in the world. Elizabeth City is the garden spot of northeastern North Carolina. It's the hub of northeastern North Carolina. And through the efforts of Peggy Langley, Jennifer Rich, Elizabeth City Downtown, who head up Elizabeth City Downtown, and our outstanding Chamber of Commerce, we are very, very proud of our city, and we're moving forward.
Well, Mayor, tell me, of all the people that we have met, you've got good spokespersons for your city. But what you're doing downtown is unique because you're preserving the history with all of the old homes, the bed and breakfast. But you're not only going for the commercial value here, you're going for the residential value, and you're making it work for the young and the old.
Yeah, we were impressed with the mix.
Well, we are, and we're very, very fortunate to have this mix. I really shouldn't say a lot of it comes down from Virginia, but we do have...
Hey, we know a nice thing when we see it.
We do have a lot of people employed in Virginia who live here, and this is it's worth the drive, I'm sure, to live in Elizabeth City.
One of the projects that we were interested in hearing more about was the Raise the Dome project.
Raise the Dome project. That project is better than 50%, probably close to 60% complete now as far as funding is concerned. It's coming along extremely well. It will be a very historic marker right there in the park, just on the other side of the building here. And hopefully, if nothing happens, sometime mid next week, we should have the layout, the exact location. Council will come down and approve that, and then we'll move forward from there.
Okay, the dome, of course, is the dome from the hospital of the Albemarle. You're going to save it. It's going to become a pavilion, part of the history.
That is correct. I have to toss a little personal in here. When that dome was, the owner of the dome called and told me about it and asked if we could use it. I didn't have any idea what to do with it. I went home and told my wife, and immediately she said, I know exactly what to do with it.
Right.
And she made this suggestion to Peggy, and they have moved forward with it from there.
Okay, so history is going to stay alive here in Elizabeth City. But another thing that Elizabeth City is known for is football, college football.
We'll meet the man with a fantastic plan for the future. John Castleberry has his story next.
To you, Ed and Jane.
All right, thank you, John. We're going to be back, and we'll wrap things up here in Elizabeth City
in just a moment.
Story of a Scar Too Deep, Friday at 6 on News Channel 3.
We are live from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and Ed, I hate for this part of the neighborhood bus tour to end.
Well, you know, they say time goes by quick when you're having fun. We had a great time, but before we want to say thanks to all the great people in Elizabeth City.
Pete's over there working the crowd, as usual. We'll see you in Norfolk tomorrow night.
Thanks again. Have a great week.
Meteorologist Pete Grigsby with your exclusive triple Doppler forecast.
3 days in a row now with temperatures above the 80 mark. Plenty of sunshine on this Wednesday afternoon. There is some relief on the way, and I'm talking about some rainfall and, yes, cooler air. Kind of a nice day out here, though. It does feel like summer as you kind of look at the sky cover. We're going to take you this way and kind of nice look at the Harrison Opera House in downtown Norfolk. Now let's take you to Skycam 3 as we show you the temperatures for south side of peninsula of 80 and 81. Relative humidity 47%. Winds are from the southwest. They've been gusting up to around 25. Nice pan view there of downtown Norfolk. Pressure 29.94 and steady. High today was 82, the low 63, and no rainfall. Hey, there's the scope. Looking good. All right, let's take you to triple Doppler and scan in on northeast North Carolina, southeast Virginia, all of Maryland. We can do that here, you know. Now, right now, let's focus in on what's going on for our own area. In fact, it's kind of a clean sweep. It's been like this for, what, 3-4 days now. We've deserved a dry spell, and now it's time to get a little bit of relief in here. But as you look in closer, things are looking good again for Back Bay and Pungo. You're completely rain-free, just a few clouds here and there along the ocean and the coastal areas, and that's all. On the satellite, the clouds are coming a little closer to us. We go to the west, we go to the north, and we go to the southwest. Here's all our cloud cover stretching all the way across the areas of Texas, down to Louisiana, also over to Missouri. You can see the clearing here, but no doubt clouds will be rolling in by tomorrow. Now, when you head out to school and work tomorrow morning, no threat of any rainfall, but you will notice the clouds moving in, all because of this system right here. All these rain showers you see all the way from the Ohio Valley to the Tennessee Valley, all the way down to southern Louisiana. That cold front is going to provide the moisture for us and the chance of rain just in time for your tomorrow night into maybe early Thursday, but looks like more likely it's late tomorrow afternoon into the evening as its system does move a little closer. So by tomorrow afternoon when you're heading home from work and school, there's a good chance you might need that umbrella, all right? And the shower chances do increase as we get into the evening hours. The good news is the cooler, drier air is going to work its way in just in time for your Thursday and Friday. So things are looking good as high pressure kind of moves in behind this. Plenty of sunshine returning for your late Thursday. And then your Friday and Saturday, ooh, A-OK, just in time for the weekend. But until then, for tonight, just like last night, you're going to be dropping down to 61 in Hampton, Virginia Beach 62. Your winds continuing from the southwest direction at 15 miles an hour. So we stack it up on the eastern shore. Tomorrow morning, sunshine, increasing clouds. Your high just a little lower than today, around 79. Your chance of rain starting around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. On the peninsula, your chance of a shower begins around 12 noon. Your highs tomorrow around 79. On the south side, about the same situation. You have that chance of rain beginning around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Your wind still from the southwest of 15, and your afternoon highs 80, 81. Then the temperatures will be dropping as we get into the evening hours. Same for northeast North Carolina. We'll say rain by 1 o'clock. Best chance of rain. It increases as you get into the late afternoon hours into the early evening. And 82 will be your high for Core Peak, and Duck at 78. And what about the tide information? Well, your high tide is right after midnight, and low tide in the morning at 6:32. Well, let's talk about the weekend as we look ahead in our 7-day forecast. There's your beautiful situation for Thursday and Friday. Pick day of the week. I'm going with Friday with a high of 70. Another chance of a shower coming on Saturday with cooler air, 63, and Sunday mostly sunny and 61. Those of you who prefer the spring air, you're going to get it just in time for Friday and Saturday.
You know, that Friday looks like a good day for a picnic, and I imagine, Pete, if you had the day off, you'd probably celebrate that Kentucky win.
Oh, yes. I'm still celebrating. Didn't get much sleep last night.
Does that happen to be a Kentucky tie you're wearing by chance?
It is.
That is.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I wear
Very
it on
nice.
one occasion. So this is the second time I've worn this tie in 3 years.
In 3 years. That's right. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
Of course, Pete was an All-American himself.
That's right.
Yeah,
Sure
I would
was.
go that far,
Very
right.
good ball player.
Thanks,
All right,
Pete.
thanks.
Well, a heartwarming story about a gray whale.
Can a woman produce tool time? Watch Home Improvement tonight at 7 on News Channel 3.
And now, News Channel 3 Sports with Ted Alexander.
Good afternoon from Sky Center 3. No disappointments if you're a college basketball fan. The greatest sporting event on the planet came to a great conclusion last night in San Antonio. Utah taking on Kentucky. The Utes led by as many as 12 in the second half, but the Wildcats come back. They've been in the championship game 3 years in a row, and for the second time in those 3 years, they are victorious. Your final score, 78-69. One of the guys most excited about last night's Kentucky win, News Channel 3 meteorologist Pete Grigsby. We've got him down from the weather deck. Yes, he's got a Kentucky tie, and he's got Kentucky ties. Tell us about those ties.
My father, in the early 50s, played for Adolph Rupp, and
Wow.
my sister played for Kentucky Lady Cats in the late 70s and early 80s.
Now, Pete leads the News Channel 3 Brick Masons, but you never got the scholarship offer from Kentucky?
No, I didn't play for Kentucky. It wasn't good enough, but I still cheer them on.
The roof came off the Grigsby house last night as the Wildcats win for the second time in 3 years. Just as one season comes to an end, another begins. It's opening day 1998 for Major League Baseball. The Baltimore Orioles are entertaining
The most watched news station in Hampton Roads.
Sports time, and guess what, John? Surprise. You and I were
No surprise.
nail on the head.
Yeah, we found a different angle of this stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Pete Grigsby's been going crazy about Kentucky, and we found out why. Let's take a look at why Pete Grigsby's been going crazy. You know who that is, number 25?
That's Pete Grigsby.
That's his father.
That's Pete's
He
father?
played for Kentucky
My
back in the
goodness.
50s. No wonder he's been going nuts
Looks
over
just
this
like
thing.
him.
He
Yeah.
got his wish. Kentucky basketball invades News Channel 3. How
That
about
is
this?
really something.
Began with 305 Division I schools in November. 64 teams were invited to participate in March Madness, and tonight Kentucky is the king of the hill. The Wildcats won the NCAA title. Yes, Pete Grigsby cares. They're sixth as they defeated Syracuse 76-67 in the title game in the New Jersey Meadowlands. Syracuse hung tough, though. You got to give them credit for coming back. They didn't get blown out, but in the end, Kentucky had too much firepower. They win it by 9 points, and they finally lived up to their billing. Meanwhile, the College of William & Mary has got itself a new athletic director. The tribe is
extra careful when you're out there driving, so the little ones get home safely.
That is absolutely true. What a beautiful day to be out as well. In
I'm
fact,
going to grab my ball and bat and go play right now.
I'm going up to the weather deck. How about you? That's going to do it for our news tonight. Be sure to join us at 10 and 11.
CBS Evening News is up next. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
This is WTKR News Channel 3, where more people in Hampton Roads get their news than from any other source.
Captured on videotape, California. Williamsburg.
More people in Hampton Roads get their news from WTKR News Channel 3 than from any other source.
It is sports time, and it's not enough that the Kentucky Wildcats are national champs, but we have our own News Channel 3 connection
You
tell us
know,
about.
Pete, our weatherman, is so modest. I didn't even know about this connection until today, but he comes from a long line of Kentucky Wildcats. Take a look at this, would you? Number 25 for the Kentucky Wildcats in the 53-54 season is Pete Grigsby II, father of our own Pete Grigsby III. Pete II played on the Wildcat team that went undefeated that year, but they never played in the NCAA tournament because of a point-shaving scandal that broke out in the late 40s with the Kentucky program. This team paid for their sins, and by the way, our Pete was an all-stater at McDowell High in Kentucky, and his older sister Jerry is Kentucky's all-time leading scorer in high school basketball, who once scored 81 points. Wow, how about that for a little tidbit? Okay, time now to put basketball on the back burner. The Norfolk Tides arrived in town today, and we'll get the season started Thursday.
The ironic thing is you have to go all the way to the Netherlands to see Holland in an hour. Isn't that funny?
No, the plane was funny.
I find it
small it was. Anyway, thanks. That's our 11 o'clock news.
The news continues tomorrow morning at 5:30.
David Letterman is up next. Take care.
Have a great evening.
This is WTKR News Channel 3, where more people in Hampton Roads get their news than from any other source.